Well, it's celebrating 30 years of freedom through dance and music is the theme of the 2024 Sikelela Festival. Grammy Award-winning Zakes Bantwini is set to host another event aimed at providing a diverse platform for all ethnic groups in South Africa as we celebrate 3 decades of freedom. We caught up with Zakes at our studios to discuss his latest project and his thoughts on freedom in 2024. Take a listen.
Well, we are joined in studio by the king of dance music in South Africa, also Grammy Award-winning artist, the one and only Mr. Zakes Bantwini. Zakes, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on AM Report.
Thank you for having me.
I know that there are so many people that are watching right now and jealous and watching you already. They're starting to hear, oh man, in their ears.
You had to take it back there.
We had to take it all the way back, because I think you have become such a force in the music industry.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times on the Grammy win and so much more. Can we start there, actually?
Yes.
We just saw recently Tyler winning her Grammy.
Yes.
There just seems to be something that the world is seeing about South Africa. Talk to me about what you think that is.
I think it's about time. I think the social media has actually helped us really claim our spots in the international global stage, because we've always been great. Always been great. It's not like it's only now. It's always been great. But I think we're made to only appeal to Africans or to us. So we're selling music for ourselves, to us, and we're dancing for ourselves. We've been doing that, and now social media, what it has done was even empowers all these record labels and stuff. Even when they will sign artists, they will sign them for only this particular region. They wouldn't plug them in on other different regions in the world. But now what social media now has done, there's nobody who has the key for you to get into any country. Yeah. So once you open the phone, you can see what is happening in the world, and the best person then wins the audience, which is South Africa has always been great. So that's why South Africans are trending in every dance they come up with, every song that they put out. It's trending on social media. Then now you can't stop that from happening, and the kids are the future. So kids love that, and now the kids are telling the world that these are the people that we love.
It's such a strange dichotomy, because you've got a country that sits and looks at itself and says, oh, we have so many challenges, and then the world is celebrating our sound and our style.
Of course.
So that's one thing that I think South Africans really need at the moment.
Definitely.
And speaking of things that South Africans really need at the moment, you in fact are really working on something right now that speaks specifically to that, celebrating 30 years of a new South Africa.
Yes, I mean, as you know, currently with all the politicians, there's nobody who's thinking about celebrating. I think they're all worried about
the elections.
about the elections. And I mean, it's 30 years of democracy, and myself and my team, we felt like we needed to celebrate it. Since we don't even have an official celebration, but I felt like we didn't have to wait for somebody for us to celebrate ourselves. It has to come from us. And like I said, I always wanna speak to the youth, and I always wanna listen to the kids. Yeah. So I think for where we are right now, really as South Africans, we need to have a conversation around what 30 years of democracy means to us, well, in a jovial mode.
Yeah.
So
how do you explain that? How do you explain, as someone who has been at the forefront of really creating a distinctive South African sound, right? And even if you look at just the genesis of South African music from what it was 30 years ago to what we have today in this big global sound, how do you define who we are then and what that 30 years has meant?
I think it's not a one-word answer, or it's not everybody feels democracy and freedom in different ways. For me, it may mean something else. To someone, it may mean something. But maybe when we have a conversation, we'll probably find out that there's a common thread. you know, that says, as South Africans, this is what it means, you know, and this is what perhaps we are working toward, you know. I think Nelson Mandela had an idea of a rainbow nation, that what freedom meant to him, to see each and every South African coming from different ethnic groups, you know, working together, you know, that was his dream. Maybe for Desmond Tutu is something else, you know, it's peace, it's a reconciliation, that's him. For me, it's really, you know, dancing together and socializing together, and really, because I have this theory that we can never transform through policies, you know. You can have so many policies, but when you don't want to transform, you'll find a way, you'll find a loophole not to transform, you know. So maybe that's why. So you can have a BEE, then you'll have people going to court to challenge the BEE because people are not ready or they don't want to transform. So you can't force that. But for me, it's like, how do you transform? You transform by spending time together, by socializing, because you only work with people you like.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a proposal, I feel like it's just a paper for you to just try and, you know, to follow protocol, but you win somebody's heart by a conversation, and they'll say, send me, but don't send me a long proposal, just send me a 2-pager. I've realized over years, you know, all these big proposals and the texts that I've sent before, they never worked. But right now, once there's a relationship, you know, and then someone says, send me something, so it then tells you that we as Africans, South Africans, we really do not know each other, and we are hence that's why we don't work with each other, and hence that's why we don't socialize with each other, because we really do not know each other. So the racial lines are so big because we don't socialize. It's only when Springboks win, then we suddenly feel like, hey, we are South Africans, and then once that fades away, then we go back to who we are, you know. And I think that's for me, that's what I'd like to see as a freedom, is when everybody could be able to be anywhere and any time they'd want to be, and work with whoever and whomever that they'd like to engage with, and date and marry whoever they'd want to do, and all of those things without being guided by, hey, you couldn't do this because historically.
That's true, and I think one of the things that you've been able to do is really cross those racial lines as well. And really talk and really bring. And
it wasn't easy. I must say, it seriously wasn't easy, because I remember this other time, it's very interesting story. We were invited by a brand, and I had this one group, it was a white group, what's their name? I forgot their name, I'm going to remember it now. And then we were there, you know. So I kind of like, okay, I figure for you to be in the same campaign as me, you should be happening in wherever. But still, there was no engagement, you know. We could only do something on what the camera was on. When the camera was off, we went in our corners. And then we meet at the Summers, nominated at the same category. I think it was the Song of the Year or something like that. I'm like, if you are nominated for something, it means you are happening. But it's like, we are in the same South Africa, but we both do not know how big we are in the same country. And it's like, where are we really? And you know, people have these beautiful words that they would say, you know, because sometimes English can be a very dangerous language, you know. And then they would say segmentation. I hate the word segmentation, because for me that's segregation. But it's just a marketing word that means segmentation. What are you segmenting me based on where I live? So you are segregating me based on that. So we are saying, as an African guy, I can't hear you from this radio station. As a white person, I can't hear you from this radio station. So you are saying you're segmenting me. It sounds good, but you are segregating, because then you are saying you are only here. So this segmentation.
So tell me this then, because obviously, and again, you've been able to cross lines and bring people together across racial lines through your music. And now with the Sikelela Festival, you tell me about who's on the lineup. And I believe you're even taking the step of becoming or continuing to be the thought leader that you are by also holding a talk. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I always want to listen to young people. For me, I like, I think it's the only way. When I was young, I used to spend time with the old people.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm older. I want to spend time. I want to spend time with the young people.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
tables have turned. Yeah.
Tables have turned, and I'm learning a lot. You know, I'm learning a lot. I mean, Osama, all these records that I've done currently, I'm working with the young people. I mean, they are in their 20s.
Yeah.
You know, Kasango, Kayenda Soul, Dreka, Mbuso. These guys are probably between 21 and 25 or 26, you know, and I've learned a lot from them. And I said, if this circle can grow even bigger, I mean, can you imagine how many Osamas and the Malis and the Asandas we can actually create, you know, and change other people's life. You know, like sometimes I meet this guy and I go say, hey, where you going? No, I'm performing in Dubai. I'm performing elsewhere. I'm like, oh wow, man, you know, like so. And for me, it's like we have to be able to always bring ourselves close to each other, you know, it's like a young person and they see me, somehow they wouldn't say hi. They sometimes don't say hi because they're scared.
They're scared of you.
Yeah.
It's the great Zakes Bantwini.
So as a Macron man, we are the ones who have to reach out to these kids, I mean, to young guys and say, hey, I want to get into the studio. Hey, I want to work with you. Hey, when can you do this thing? Because to them it's like, hey, for the record man, I want to do a studio session. And the record man is willing boutique and stuff like that. Yeah. And the reason why I go to institution is precisely that reason. It's like, hey guys, I can wherever you think I am, but I can still hear you, and I still want to see you. I still want to have a conversation with you. I still want you to know, you know, that I have time for you, that I can sit down and have a conversation with you. A conversation which is not curated by anybody, but curated by myself and you guys, sitting down and having a conversation. That's basically what this thing is. And we always have to keep reminding South Africans why freedom, why reconciliation, why all of those things. Because I feel like maybe we are failing as the country to really understand what these holidays are. So that's why we nearly had Heritage Day, you know, becoming a Pride Day because of that reason. You know what I mean?
We haven't talked about the lessons
so
that
suddenly, there's a holiday on the 25th of September. Oh, it's Pride Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We haven't talked enough to young people about what the reason and the heritage of all of these days.
About all these things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that if you were born in if you were alive in 1994, you remember the significance of the day on the 27th of April. But if you're younger,
you remember those cues.
Yes, you don't remember the magic. You don't remember the magic. Let me ask you this. I cannot have Zakes Bantwini in studio and not ask you what you're up to, because everybody always looks forward to when you're dropping, what you're dropping next. We know that you just dropped right now in December. Yes. How's that going? Yeah,
it's going very well. So I dropped the album called The Star Is Reborn. We on our first single. It's a 10 song album. We're on our first single, which is Mama Tula. It features tags in Suffocate and Sky Wonder. We are going to be getting onto our next single, I think, right after Mother's Day, because I feel like Mama Tula, it's that song. So we're going to push it until Mother's Day. We're looking forward to the 27th of, I think, what I'm working on is the 27th of April. The Sikelela is what we're looking forward to. I have Kelvin Momo on the lineup. I have Scorpion Kings. I have Sanel Musician, Mikasa. I think Young Stunner. I mean, Caesar, Reason is Caesar now. Yeah. Supta, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. And then I have Mtunzi. Yeah. I think those are and myself. And those are people that I have on this lineup. But we wanna do this each and every year. We've sold, I think, about 60% of the tickets already. We actually looking to sell out. I think in the next week or two, would have sold out. Yeah.
You probably will, and the fact that you're having this festival taking place at Constitutional Hill, I think for me is incredibly important.
Of course.
And musicians have been able to successfully in this country make Constitutional Hill relevant to young people.
Yes,
which
yes.
we've done very beautifully.
Yes, I think Constitution Hill is very, I was corrected. I used to say Constitutional Hill. They're like, yo, it's Constitution
Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think what happens there is just an amazing, like when, and I encourage each and every person, young and old, to take some time and go there so that you'll understand how many people who sacrificed and had to go through serious issues and the sacrifices they made. I mean, sometimes I'm like, if I wonder how many people who were at the Nelson Mandela's position if they would have done the same thing Nelson Mandela, because Nelson Mandela was a lawyer, and had a relationship or had a wife who was a social worker. Those people were set. They could have just kept quiet and just enjoy their lives, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for him. He had to make this particular sacrifice. So it's always like, if Nelson Mandela had to sacrifice not only spending time in jail, but also sacrifice his career, which was already like, why do we feel like those particular sacrifices had to end with him? Why can't we also just sacrifice? So it's like sacrificing my time to go see people, sacrificing whatever to do this. I mean, I sacrificed my career to go and work at Sony. My career was happening. I went at Sony. I came back. I suffered because by the time I came back, people had forgotten that I released music. But it was a sacrifice that I needed to make because I wanted just to see us propelling forward our careers, and that had to do with just a sacrifice. But I think as South Africans, like we are about ourselves now, and you hear people say, I mean, how come? Like, like my mother would say, oh, so it's like we really have to care about what people say, and we have to do something if we can. But if we can't do something about it, then it's okay. But if you know that the way people perceive you, you can turn this button and they can perceive you differently, I mean, just press that button so that they can see you for who you really are. So this notion of saying just don't care what people say, I think maybe just don't take it too hard, but do pay attention to what people say.
Absolutely. I think that the key message that we take here from a music leader, an industry leader, and certainly a leader of an entire generation saying to us, pay it forward, do your bit, grow yourself and pay it forward, and they'll be celebrating what it means to be South African, Ubuntu, and paying it forward, and certainly 30 years of our beautiful country. Zakes Bantwini presenting Sikelela Festival, made in South Africa. It's taking place at Constitution Hill on the 27th of April, that of course being Freedom Day, from 11 in the morning until 11 at night. Go get your tickets. It's going to be a beautiful show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure.
Thank you.